Good morning, everyone. How are you? Yes, Yvonne, the gang is all here. How about that? Here and up above and everywhere. So, the first thing before we start number 8, can you believe it doesn't seem like it's been so many, and yet there's going to be a few more? In my grateful, warm heart for gratitude to those who are supporting my channel, gave donations. Yvonne, Lynn, Silver 1111, and Carmen. Thank you so much. It's so appreciated. It really is beautiful. Sending many extra blessings for all of you. Thank you. So today is going to be about imagination first. And we're going to kind of follow up where we've been and how we learned about concentration. You want to have a concentrated thought, not to be absent-mindedly just thinking about everything. So we're going to kind of take that to another level. And Silver 1111, it's good. Yes, everybody give a thumbs up, subscribe. Because you want to have a notebook, because I'm going to give you some exercises to work with on how to begin to train your mind to be more focused and get you where you want to go and how it works inside you. So what you didn't know is that imagination is both reproductive and it's creative. You know, I've had many clients over the years and say, well, I'm not visual. And I'll say, okay, well, can you imagine the tufted chair you have at home? And maybe it's red. Oh, yeah. Well, that's an indicator. They're thinking because they don't have third eye vision and see everything around the room that they're not visual. And actually, we all have the gift of imagination. The beginning of my journey, the first thing I became a facilitator in was One Brain. And yes, you can guess it was about the brain, but also about how we set ourselves up for dysfunction. So if you can think throughout life, even as a small child, those first 7 years, which are a lot of what you're living out now, that every time you were fearful or hesitant or not sure where you were going and held your breath, a little part of you stepped aside and became stuck in that space. We call them subpersonalities. I believe there's not one inner child. There are lots in that 144,000 parts of us. So as we go upon the spiritual journey, it's about discovering what they've been holding on to and to look at probably the monster it's become and to love it and to transform it. So imagination is very good for that. Working with the subconscious. A lot of the subconscious work I do has been about having visuals that can touch a distorted, diseased thought and transform it into light. So I want you to realize that the power of that imagination is stronger than the will. We talked about the will in the last class, but here we're going to begin to understand will is Ray 1, decision to do. We're now going to bring imagination in, that when the conflict happens between the two of them, always imagination will win. So let's think about that for a moment. Let's think there was a man. This is an old thing that happened years ago. Had an impediment of speech, and he'd had it for years, and he tried to make himself stop it. This is the will. He came and went, I can't stop it. I try. Well, that's what I tell people. You cannot try because it makes no change. So we worked on an imagination and imagining a friend who was very beautiful in how he spoke, and that let it become him. He saw himself as that man, and immediately he could speak normally. And I know that sounds a little far-fetched, but it is the power of the mind and the imagination inside. You can take away the fear of swimming, the fear of sharks, and all the different things in the same way. If you can see yourself being at one with them. Like I told you, my daughter said, why can't you just kiss the dragon and let it all go? Well, the safe place to do that is in the imagination. Okay. So we're going to get some exercises here to try to see how well your imagination, how you're functioning with that piece inside of you that's creating your life. Because that's what this is all about, right? Is changing it. So let me say hello to some of these beautiful people here. Um, good morning, Silver 1111. First one here today. Barbara, Yvonne, good morning. Carol, thank you to Yvonne and Carol. Carrie, Harsha, good morning. Carmen, good morning. Constance, Marby, Zaima, there you go. Zaima, glad you're here with us. Rita, good morning. Lots of hearts. Barbara Ward, good morning. Holly, and that's pretty much where we're at. So I want you to know that your imagination is one of the most powerful gifts God has ever given you. And remember, the use of it and how you put it into action in the thoughts within your mind is up to you. Okay? Yes, I can hear the question, well, can we use it negatively? Yes, you can. And here's how. And it's about one of the most horrible things you can do is if you have thoughts of negative about someone, we must know thoughts go to who they're about. Now, if they're a very high spiritual being, that's going to come right back at you. So it's not worth the energy to have negative thoughts about someone else. Look inside and see where they're mirroring something for you, because when you send it out, it's going to get sent back to you like 10,000 suns, 10,000 suns. It's going to be huge. And we're probably seeing a lot of that happen in our world. So be awake, be aware. What you think has a powerful meaning to not only you, but to the people around you. And it is your use of your creative faculty. All right. So that's why you see so much is being done now in meditation that's spoken, because the spoken word along with the visual has a very huge power on the senses of the nervous system and the mind. It's like, what do we have the mind for? We have the mind to create. What do you want to create and how do you want to create? And that's kind of what we're learning. We want to be la, 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 and there are those people out there. Or do we want to be focused? I've been told I can do 10 things at once and do them effective. That just didn't happen. Way back, 1989, I began to learn that this was a tool for me to be effective, first and foremost in my healing, but then also in my life. So think about this, imagination. So as we go along, it's going to integrate because we're going to move into visualization. Now, is there a difference? Yes. Imagination is when you imagine something in your mind. And actually, way back in one brain, they had discovered through muscle testing, it was 99% accurate. So I always tell my clients if they can have something come to them through imagination, know it's true. There's just no denying it. I believe in those people and how hard they work to make everything they did true. I don't even think it exists anymore. I don't know what happened because I went a different route. But yes, so let your imagination speak to you. Know you have it, whether or not you think you do. All right. Now, visualization is when You want to look and visualize something for a different purpose, like concentration of imagination and visualization is very similar. Visualization is the ability to reproduce within the mind pictures of previously seen objects. There you go. My nose is itching. Now, how you see that picture is going to show you your ability to pay attention. I'm sure we've all heard when we were young and in school, now pay attention. Have a good day, but pay attention. So, can you remember how well did you pay attention? Well, let's do a little experiment here. Write it down if you don't have something there. But let's say everybody has some kind of a picture in a magazine, not something with just the sun and a person meditating, something with detail. And I want you to just let yourself look at it for 5 minutes. And like you can see, I have a good picture right here behind me if you don't have another one. There's a lot of detail in this image and all the beings behind me. And let's give you a few minutes, and then I want you to write down what you remember with as much detail as you can have. I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes. Don't write them down until we stop the time. So for those who might be coming in, we're looking at the image, if you don't have something else behind me, and just letting yourself see how much you can pay attention to. Because in a few minutes, we're going to write down what you remember. And it's going to help us know how focused you can be, your ability to pay attention. So it could be whether you're at work or whatever it is you do. It's a very effective desire to have. Okay, so let's stop. If you're using me as your example, don't look up here at me to remind yourself. Start writing down. What detailed things do you remember that were behind me? Okay, so someone who gets an answer right over here for me. How many things did you get? Good morning, Prime 3. We're kind of doing a little exercise. I'm waiting to have people tell me how many things. And Libra lady, didn't see you tucked away there. Good morning. Good morning, Barbara. Got 10. Carmen got 9. Now, how do you feel, Barbara and Carmen, about that number of them? Okay, silver 1111, 9. Good. Kind of looks like a consensus. Did you put down my glasses, my earrings, the angel, the trees, the beads, Kuan Yin over there, the big stone, the green Buddha? I'm just wanting you to see that we can begin to work with your Yvonne, 8, good. What if then at some point you can get 20 of them? Carmen, only use the background. Very good. And that's unique in itself. So the next thing I want those of you who are doing it to do, take a piece of paper and make a telescope so that you can look through a little hole. Like this. And you can specifically maybe look in at that angel. There's something up there. Can you see it? There's Buddhas. See if you can find that you have a different level of focus when you pinpoint it. And as you do that with the entire picture, you seem to know more. Holly has photo recall. That's pretty good. About 14 in a book cover I looked at. That's very good, Rita. But I think it's great what all of you did, but let's go for making it even more effective. We only use about 12% of our brain, so there is a capacity to even have more than we're seeing now. So the theory is when you telescope in the picture, and this is going to have you then, like if you're out for a walk, it's our next exercise, and you have an intent to just look at the scenery and see what's there. But we all know what happens, right? Other thoughts start coming in. Anytime other thoughts come in, you got to stop and start your 5-minute time over again. See how that works for you, because I can guarantee you're going to start learning to use that process in every day. How will that work for you? Let's say you have to make a big decision about something, and you go into the emotional field to find that response versus into the mind, which eventually comes down into your heart. Your heart is going to have you be in neutral and see it for what it is, which opens a million possibilities. And it's going to allow life to have a greater excitement or movement in whatever way that your soul's wanting to take it, instead of just always walking down the same road, mind busy, 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 and not even knowing where you are. I know you all drive sometimes and get somewhere, and how'd I get here? That is an unfocused mind. Yeah, I know, it's usually spirit that does it, and you're usually fine, but it's not the most beneficial for you. So we're being shown here a few ways that we can sharpen, I guess perhaps is the right word, our mind process. and really let it understand that there's the concentrated, reproductive, creative part, and then there's the ego part, just keeps you rambling and away from all that. Who do we want to give our power of mind to? That's the question. So these two exercises, one with the picture and then going back with the telescope, seeing if you see more and remember more. Give yourself 5 minutes. Go around with the telescope. You're going to have a greater detail, I am sure. And then to walk down the street, knowing that you're just going to look at the trees and the houses and get to know the street you're walking. How quickly is it before? Because I know whether it's that you let the ego come in, maybe you're used to talking to your master teacher or someone. No, we're wanting to create a new pattern that's focusing on what you're looking at, that's visualizing it and seeing it for more than what it is, so that you have a new way of living and a new way to resolve conflict. Yes. For remember, that which is within you is what will show up outside of you. So if there is a conflict, first off, you must stop yourself and stop the other. For unless there is sacred honor and respect, it is inappropriate. That's my way I live. So where are you not respecting yourself? And that means that you're afraid to speak up what you really believe or want to do. And that shouldn't be so. You see? So you must let the speech come along to be, no, this is who I am, and go forth from that. All right? So Barbara's saying, through the telescope, everything was brighter. You can see the details more clearly. Now, when we are focusing on things on our daily life, do you think it's going to be beneficial to see the details more clearly? So we want to train the mind, this concentration of the mind, to be more effective in what it's doing. So you can write me if you have questions about that. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to talk about sound vibration. Reproducing sound is very beneficial for a lot of people. So let's think of when I do angel messages. Sometimes the light language comes in and speaks to the person, whether it's before or after the angel sings. Why is that? Have you ever thought about that? Why does that happen for some and then not for others? Because that angel is deciding there needs to be an upliftment in the individual who's receiving their message so that they can hear it, receive it, perceive it. They're actually, oh, new grandma, good morning. So that you can have the experience that they're desiring you to have. And it's all very moving. I know you all understand that. So sound is another one of the gifts of, along with imagination and along with sound vibration, and also the spoken word. When you become an individual where your heart has become aligned to your throat, that means every word you speak is an expression of God. That's what the front of the throat is about, an expression of God. I don't know if you all knew that. But that's why you work on your throat, and how many things in everybody's life has happened because of the in dysfunction of what you've spoken into the world. Because remember, every word you speak goes out through the universe and never stops moving. It is in continual action. So, it might give you pause to really contemplate when you go to speak. What is happening? It's going to never stop. A gazillion of beings are going to hear it and see it. And you'll say, now, how can that happen? We don't know for sure, but it does. The music of the spheres holds a lot of answers. Have you ever heard of them? They're where the sound that we hear sometimes, and yet we don't know where it comes from. And there are musics that we hear that remind us of home and that where we've come from, which is the music of the spheres. And it is said that there is the notes of the piano, that we are all one. And the universe will not be complete until we have all one, all become one of those notes on that piano. Isn't that just a majestic thought? It must be huge. Sometimes in my visualizations, I see God sitting and playing on the piano. And it's music that can keep me so embraced by the unusualness and yet beauty of it. And that's how we want our lives to be, isn't it? To always be embraced and held up and loved, and to recognize our own lovability because we feel loved. So Holly says there is comfort in patterns and recollection. Yes. So now we're all saying, hello, new grandma. It must be a girl because it's a pink flower. So I think if you do some of the exercises I've given you, you're going to feel a great shift in how you perceive the world. Let's be honest, that's what this is all about. How you perceive your walking each day, how you perceive your living each day, how you interact with people, how you love people. Is it unconditionally? I mean, that's what we're all working towards, but do we? Are we? Things to contemplate. Contemplation is different than absent-mindedness. Contemplation is that what you either can write or you can sit for a quiet time knowing you're going to go in meditation and have your heart and your soul speak to you. Call Jesus in when you meditate. Whenever two sit in God's name, all that is will appear and be with you. So whoever is your higher self, call and sit with them, and you will find a great peace in that. So, more today about concentration, more to understand about the gift of the mind that we all have. If every word goes on to infinity, it is a huge responsibility to try our best to be speaking words of positivity and high vibrations. And exactly, Barbara, that is my point. You know, our only responsibility in the universe is to maintain our clarity. But to contemplate, it also means to have the clarity of our voice, our words, is what once was seemed to be, oh, yeah, really? Wow, that's a powerful thing, right? Our words should come from a loving place. And I can speak of the beautiful pink blanket that comes from Jesus in his heart to lay over you at night when you sleep. And you will feel the peace of him. And I know you can feel that. And that's where we all want to be. That we can use the imagination and the spoken word. And even if we want to give sound to it, it's going to make it even more real because it is real. And this is how we want life to be. Am I not right? So, anyone have a question for me today? That was a deep conversation, but yet not so long of one, unless you have a question on anything we talked about. But Barbara Ward, that is exactly. So that tells me you were listening and you're paying attention. So we want to pay attention in our world. And where do we have to bring this truth about how we're using our mind, the power of it, to affect our way of living? Did everybody get kind of what I was talking about? Good morning, Rita. I saw you hop in there. Ask me. I always forget which hand is which. No, because I see it backwards. Someone give me a question. I would say if you're someone that's relatively newer on the path, you want to do a lot of subconscious work and releasing through subconscious imagination and bringing love and just release the black fabric of fear around you, knowing that it leaves. Yes, Silver, the power of the spoken word. Yes, TheoSophia, we all have work to do. Yes, thank you. I'm kind of zoned. Now, y'all know the healing never ends. So for there's those of you who are waiting for some ending, even if you're one that becomes on your ascension or even become ascended, you still, there's healing. All the masters you see here behind me, they transform and sit in different seats all the time. They're growing. They're growing just like we're growing. So, the masters are here. The angels are above them. And the angels come back to earth sometimes and they go back up. There's so much that you can't really try to hold yourself into this is who I want to be, but accept who you are this moment. Except at this moment, you're saying, I want to be a creative mind. I want to reproduce the truth. So let me see here. I got some comments. Yes, thank you. I didn't realize that there was a difference between visualization and imagination. Great explanation. Well, thank you. Do angels and masters place thoughts and words in your mind, especially in the morning? Well, this is a good question, Carmen. My experience is the closest times you have, I'm going to use the word God, is in the morning, the first moment you wake up, and at night, the moment before you fall asleep. So I like to ask if there's an important question in my life, I ask it and take it with me to bed. And when I wake up, I'll usually have something that comes to me. And that's who I know is going to answer it. Now, I hope that answers your question. So if you have a special angel or a master that's in your world, ask them, are they the ones or is it God talking to you? That would be the thing I would suggest you to find out. But it's in the morning and it is at night. So Barbara says, now I will be more conscious of the correlation between the heart and the throat. This will be a part of living consciously. Yes, so I'm asking Spirit if I can make that connection for everybody here. Let me finish reading and I'll see what they're saying. I'm losing some of the new, okay. Light language feels like an inner experience that bypasses the mind. Light language has nothing to do with the mind. Light language comes from the depth of the soul and expression then through the throat. Has no mind in it. because you aren't thinking of it. It wouldn't be light language if you were thinking of it. It is that which comes from a greater expansive depth of who you are, and it just comes. It's a deep surrender is needed to bring forth light language. Okay? So, Carmen says, I woke up this AM with a very positive thought about future events. Fine. I don't usually know the masters to focus much on future, but see if you can take that into how today it would change today to maybe help create that which is further down the road. And New Grandma says, those are times when I solve a lot of my problems and get good insight into things I need to do. Yes, yes. And Carmen says, re-question. So tell me what you mean, Carmen. I don't get it. Okay, so while you're waiting to write, I'm going to go ahead here, and there may be a deepening of this interconnection down the road. But first, let's do some subconscious releases from the throat to get everybody right this moment on the level in their throat and in their heart that we can unite them. It's a powerful thing because the throat is blue and the heart is green. And yet when they come together, there is a violet flame that ignites right here on your chest. Reunification, reunification. So let's unwrap the black fabric of feeling guilty. Anywhere and any place that any of you have felt guilty, just unwrap the black fabric and let the angels take it. This is a subconscious release. Yeah. Just let it go. Now, for any time that you ever spoke harshly to someone, I want to pull the knives out. Let them go. Good. Just pull them out. Let the angels take it. And I want you to say to yourself, I forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. Now, see, I'm going to make a tone. So it feels like now I must make a tone to realign everybody together. And it's going to be the sound of E if for anyone who wants to join me. Good. Feel the difference? So now we're going to go to the heart. And there's ropes. We're going to pull out the ropes of, we believe that love is a specific behavior we've been taught. And I want to put it that way because there's a lot of different of you. So let's just pull out knotted ropes. There's a knot everywhere there was a problem about how behavior of being lovable looked. And I'm not going to sing, but there's a word I'm going to say. Hop, jitta, 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 well, I did sing. Good. You should do it. Everyone should do that E sound. It really helps your good taking notes. Silver 1111. But now, if you there is something else in the heart. Let me look. Innocence. We must return to our innocence to truly be able to voice the action of God. So, anything and everything that might prevent you from owning the innocence in your heart, we're going to open a faucet and just let the black marbles pour out. No matter how many times it's happened, just let the black marbles pour out of the heart. Woo! Good. Ahapatu. Libra lady says, I can feel it. Ah. Okay. So put one hand on your heart, the other hand on your throat. And we're going to call in the essence of Father, Mother in your heart. Cobalt blue in your throat. It's actually going to be a pink come up in your heart and let them merge. Now, if you saw pink, purple, lavender, some color, let me know. That was very powerful. So you don't even really have to think about it. His voice might sound different when you allow it. You'll be more loving. And you'll contemplate what that will look like before you go to speak. Perhaps even to your inner self and to others around you. Is everybody still feeling the profoundness of that? I just saw your comment, Zaima, and light language is the one language which was generated out of needing to speak to every being, every animal can be understood whether our mind allows us to or not. But as I sing it over the years, I now pretty much can sense what the feeling is by the words that are spoken. So think about that. It's a powerful thing. Animals love it. Let me see. Go back down, see if anyone. Yes, purple with yellow. Bright yellow. Well, you know what the yellow is, right? It's that 14th ray of God coming in. Saima is smiling. I saw, Barbara Ward says, I saw purple lavender in the chest area, felt great, felt heart vibrations, may be a good preparation when invoking the violet flame. And Rita says, thank you. Thanks to all for being here and contributing to the light. It's true. It's a very powerful group, and it's a very powerful gift to be giving to you. And thank you for allowing me to be the one, to be the vessel. So, do you have to do anything with that? No. Just speak lovingly and let it help you nurture your relationship with whatever source, God, whatever that is for you, because that is our ultimate journey. Your hand was vibrating. Excellent. Thank you to you too, Grandma, for showing up today. Oh my goodness, I feel great. I hope all of you do. So, a lot to contemplate, a lot to add to what we've been doing and get to a new place. And I appreciate you all hanging out with us here as we're learning all these detailed things. But it can change your life, literally. And today, with your voice being more than just you, see what that brings up for you to think and how you think to talk to someone who you might not have talked that way to before. Because there is a powerful light within it. All that was within your heart is in your throat. And now your heart has the communication of your throat. Think about it. It's a powerful, powerful thing. Thank you. Funny you should say animals love it. Little Chloe, our Jack Russell, was the first being I spoke like language to one morning when she came into the bed. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. You know, in a part, I still love horses, but I worked with horses. And it's funny how they would paw their feet and they'd nod. They would talk right back. And especially when I would sing the language, they would just eyeball me like, how do you know that? And here, one of the horses was a guard from the Syrians. And I had a Syrian seal. I don't know if any of you ever saw it. But I gave it to the lady, and he then, for any time future, he wore that on his bridle across his chest, that he was of the Syrian seal. It's a majestic world out there when you let your awareness expand out to know we are more than the human that we were born as. And the more we do, and the more we grow, and the more we learn, every day I'm growing. Every week more energy comes, and I have to integrate it. And not that I have to, it just does. And the more I see. So I thank you for letting me have this YouTube place to be able to let it be more. All right, probably time for us all to go and contemplate all we just did, right? So, Libra lady, thank you for coming down. Now, are those kitty cats in your thing? I think so. Sahima, it's the way to live, is to be blissed out, get yourself rooted, and get used to being a lot of light, but get your root down. You don't want to be woo, 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 woo. We were called woo-woo long enough. We're not woo-woo anymore. We are actually beings of light. So get rooted, let the light shine, and I want all of you. Oh, here's some more. Much gratitude. Barbara feels so calm. Thank you. Everyone bless one friend and invite them here. That's a great idea, Yvonne. Thank you. There's more than enough to go around for everybody. My love and my heart grows every day. And so will yours now, if you allow it. Why not? It's only the other thoughts that are painful and hurtful. Love never hurts. So, many blessings. Let's see, what's coming up? I'm going to have a video about the Ascension. It'll be Sunday at 11. I'll probably do it tomorrow or Saturday. I don't know exactly how it's going to look yet. I work for God, so we've been working together to see what's the best place for where all of you are and what we should do. So, and then I asked to remind you all about Monday nights. For those of you who don't come, we do healing. There's no fee. It's on Zoom. And if you don't know the number, you can go on the community page. If not, I'll repeat it here right now. It's 495-402-3966. And the password is love. It's different than any other time. On Monday nights, you put in the password love and you'll get in, and everyone is changing. We all looked at each other the other night. We decided everybody's changing. So come join us. If you have time on Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, we're there. I'm available for everyone and whatever you need. All right? Bring a friend. How about that? All right. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, Yvonne, for your lovely thoughts. Thank you to all of you. Bye-bye. See you later. See you when the moon shines.